guys, welcome to Hey Nurse, and in today's video we are talking all about how I prepared to take NCLEX. So honey, woo, it was a rough time, baby, but we're gonna get through this little story time today, okay? Okay, so the first thing that I did to prep for NCLEX was literally prepare myself the entire time I was in nursing school. So like for me, I gave it my all. Now, if my all earned a C, then I had to just take that and roll with it, right? So, which I didn't have many, but two classes in particular that got me was pathophysiology and pharmacology, baby. Woo! I remember that was just rough times, honey, rough times. I was still giving it 120% though. So, but nonetheless, like when I was in those classes, like I really committed to being in the nursing program, learn the information at the time to the best of my ability, like really stretch myself kind of in study strategies, techniques, meeting new people, networking, so I can see like how they learned and studied, meeting with my instructors. Like I did everything I could to be successful. So I really played it full out the entire time I was in nursing school. Okay, so another key point I would say, I know a lot of times when people are in programs, it's like, why are we doing it in this order? Why we gotta do this assignment? Why this? Why that? And one thing I learned really, this is really now stepping into nursing education, because I think I still had that mindset back then, you know, but I learned to trust the process. And like now with me working in nursing education, like I see how much work goes into curriculum development. Like it is not just we threw these classes together and ta-da, here's a nursing program. That's not how it goes. It's like really research behind it, specifically selected courses to go with like the mission statement, the vision, the values, all of that to meet state accreditation requirements. It's just a lot that goes into it. Even with the hospitals, like navigating like the best facilities to get clinical experiences for students, like it's just a lot. But all of those things combined are geared towards preparing someone to be an entry-level safe practicing nurse. So with that being said, you know, I just wanted to give some encouragement to trust the process when you're in nursing school. Like it may seem like a lot, may feel like you're studying, may feel like, am I getting anywhere? Am I learning this? Like, trust the process. The classes are built on top of each other for you to be revisiting content, right? So, for example, I know fluid and electrolytes can be an area that can be weak for people, right? So you see that again and again and again throughout each course. So, whether it's starting at the beginning with pathophysiology, and then later you see it in your med surg, and then your peds, maternal child, mental health, like it's going to keep coming up. You know, you may just have a couple of other factors that change with the patient, right? And we look at a patient who holistically prioritize all of that, y'all. I'm just trying to get at the point of, you know, the programs are built to prepare each student for NCLEX success. So trust the process, play full out. That's what I did, and I think that it helped me be successful. Okay, so another something that I did was I did do a 2-day live HERS review. It was wonderful. Like my class, we got together, we all chipped in and paid money to have a lady come on campus and do the review for us. I want to say majority of us did it. The two big companies at that time were Hearst and Kaplan. Now I know there's a few other things people use like Orchard. I think I've heard Pictionary, UWorld. That's the main ones I've been hearing lately. I don't know. Hearst was good for me. Like, I loved Hearst. It was great. The lady that came in and did the review for us, she was very live and animated. Like, she had good energy. She kept us engaged the entire time. Another one I've seen is Nurse Think, which includes like the critical thinking aspect of it and helping students prepare for next generation NCLEX or NGN NCLEX, which is the current NCLEX. So again, lots of programs out there, but like I said, for me, I did HERS. So I did the 2-day live review. After the 2-day live review, We got online access to those videos, and the same thing again. And pretty much they gave us a workbook. The workbook was fill in the blank. That worked for me. Okay, so in the review, like, I used blue, and then after the review I got another pen color and then added notes based on me watching the recordings. I literally watched everything all over again. Like, I set days aside to do this in particular. And mind you, so this was after I graduated, right? So while I was in the program, I didn't like try to double study. I finished my, program and coursework at LSU, and then I switched over to doing my own review stuff, just because, I mean, that can be overwhelming trying to,
do a review course, plus you're trying to finish up your last couple of assignments and stuff, plus if you're in clinicals, preceptorship, all of that, it just can be a lot.
So for me, I think we did do the 2-day live review like at the end of the semester, but in terms of like reviewing the videos and everything else, I started that later after I graduated. Watched all the videos, then after that, that's whenever I started like really sitting down and making sure I understood everything that was on each page. So it took some time. And then I definitely was doing practice questions. If you don't do anything else, make sure you do practice questions. And I hate to say if you don't do, because practice questions alone to me does not get somebody far. Because to me, it's like just having like random bulleted information in your brain. Like, with nursing and understanding the human body, you gotta see the connections between concepts, the content, and all of that. So you gotta create some sort of system to put everything together. That's why, again, I like the workbook, because everything was already organized together in the book. And then so, I could just flip to a certain area if I had a question, right? Or, if I did practice questions and the rationale gave me information, then I would go and add it to that section, right? So again, it was something easy for me to come back and follow that made sense. It wasn't that, I had a question about P's and then something about mental health and then this, like, just all over the place in my notes. It was organized. So, and that again makes sense in terms of retaining the information and making sense of the information. Something that I also just mentioned was the rationales. I made sure I read through those rationales, okay? Didn't matter if I knew the answer was correct or got it completely wrong. I made sure I read through each one of those rationales. And keep in mind, guys, like, you may never see that particular question again, but 9 times out of 10 you will be tested on that content again. For example, mixing insulin. Let's take it some steps back. Diabetes, right? So you can get questions about all types of things with diabetes. It could be between type 1 and type 2. It could be medication administration, foot care, patient education, diet. So like all of those different areas require different information and different nursing guidelines and whatnot. So this is why it's important to read those rationales, because you can get other information, right? You can have a rationale that, is asking about the next action the nurse would do. They may give you 4 correct answers, but you're selecting the best one of those, right? But then in reading, you can see why those other options were not the best option to select, and why whichever one was the best option. So, and if you answer a question about, diabetes pertaining to mixing insulin, well, your next question could be diabetes pertaining to foot care. Maybe you read something in that previous answer choice that can help you on the foot care question. So again, make sure you're reading through the rationales. And again, because it helped me. And even as I teach students, that is something that I drill into students. You got to read the rationales. Do not just be clicking through, oh, I got it, click. It's for you to learn it and then go apply it and save somebody's life, In terms of practice questions and where I got them from, I did the ones that came with hers, because I want to say maybe it was 2 comprehensive exams at the end. So I did do those exams. and maybe there was like a question bank or something. Like, I just remember multiple questions. Like, yeah, every day I was knocking it out, okay? When I say I probably did over 3,000 questions, and I wish I would have really kept count, but, and that may sound like a lot, or it may sound like a little, because some people do 5,000, you know, or whatever. It really depends on the person, but it can be done, especially if you do start early. Practice questions I did while I was in nursing school, right? Because, you know, you can download apps or get an NCLEX review book, and you can be answering that stuff on your phone. So, like, back then I just had my son, and how old was he? So anyway, the point is, like, say if I had to do, like, you know, an activity for my son, or like say if he was playing t-ball at the time, well, while they practicing, I was over there practicing NCLEX. Okay, so I definitely, you know, did stuff on the go and whatnot, but that was how I was able to do so many questions. So anyway, I did hers, and then I did UWorld. The reason I did the UWorld stuff, and I think I might have only did like the sample practice something because I was too cheap to buy the real thing. But nonetheless, I think the sample, it showed me what NCLEX was going to be like. Meaning that, like, how it's set up, the program and the format of it matched NCLEX at that time. So the way the questions popped up, the color of the screen, how the screen ended, all of that, it matched on UWorld. So I wanted to kind of experience that before going into the exam, so that's why I did that. And I think all of those different things played a role in me being successful on NCLEX. So by the time I practiced that, did the questions, like I said, did the Hearst review and whatnot, if I be honest, I still did not feel prepared to take NCLEX. Like, when I sat for it, I didn't feel prepared. But at the end of the day, I think it's like kind of that whole fear of the unknown, you know. And really, in reality, we never know how things can go. All we can do is give life and things our best, right? And then, shoot, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Luckily for me, it worked out in my favor. Woo, praise the Lord. It worked out in my favor, and I've been being a nurse ever since then. So that was some of the resources that I use in terms of NCLEX prep and whatnot. It's beautiful that here I am almost 10 years later, and I help people to pass NCLEX now. So it's crazy how life happens, and, you know, everything comes full circle. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe below. In the comments area, I'm really wondering, what are you guys using to prep for NCLEX? Just leave that in the comments below. I love looking at new products and, you know, seeing like what worked for a certain type of learner and whatnot. So make sure you leave that in the comments below. Until the next video, see ya.